right, his work is sick and twisted, but boy, the folks still love him. He's the creator of the smash hit comic, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and for a change, we're going to go ahead and pick his brain. Please join me in welcoming Jhonen to the Screensavers. Jhonen?
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
And it is Jhonen.
Jhonen Vasquez, right?
Yes.
Just making sure.
That went out live, didn't it?
Well, yes, it did.
I hate you, whoever said that.
All this goes up. What, did someone say something?
Johan. They called me Johan. Did you hear them on the announcer?
No.
Yeah.
Did they really?
They called me Johan.
Oh, I'm so sorry we would do that to you.
Yeah.
Why would you actually do a television appearance?
This interview is over.
Aren't you supposed to be smashing stuff and anti-establishment, kicking cameras and breaking
I think
lights?
I should just be drawing comics.
Ah. Well,
yeah.
let's start with that.
Which isn't as exciting as smashing up the furniture, but if I had known that I could have, I would definitely love to
After
try.
the end of the interview, we'll go rock
smashing up some stuff.
We'll play some hard metal and let you go at it. How's that?
Lovely.
Oh, the producers are in my ear. They're saying no. I'm sorry. Sorry. Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Tell me about it. That's pretty much. Would you consider that your start? Was that your first breakout hit?
It was my first comic.
Was it?
Yeah. It was. That was '95. That was the first series that I had done with slave labor graphics. Previously, it was in a magazine called Carpe Noctem, but it was not as widely distributed as the comics got, and that was my start. That was pretty much it.
And is there a story to how it was created, or was it just, hey, this looks kind of cool, let's kill people?
It's just, well, yeah, it's cool to kill people. You know, that's my.
Remember, kids, it's cool to kill. Oh, sorry. Yeah, really, was there a concept behind it, essentially?
He was basically a holdover from high school. I drew comics and just single-page strips in high school, and he just survived post high school years and ended up becoming the main character in the series. He was the one that slave labor was interested in. My publisher, Slave Labor Graphics. And
now it's 10 years later. It's the anniversary, right? I
yeah.
mean, you apparently were so psyched about it, you didn't even really know it was the anniversary. Is that true?
No, I didn't. I had no idea. It wasn't until my publisher emailed me saying that this year he wanted to make a big deal out of the 10th anniversary of Johnny for the San Diego Comic-Con, and I had no idea. I was doing other stuff, and I haven't been waiting for the 10th year anniversary to come up.
Right. Are you surprised that people are still interested and that you're getting perhaps even new readers to the series? Very.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest question is who doesn't have the book by this point?
Right.
But it still sells at 10 years afterwards, which is, it's bizarre, but it's also, it's very cool.
Right. Now after that, I want to get to Squee here. That was the follow-up, right?
Yeah, that was the second series. He was a character he was a character in Johnny who got his own book. So.
And could you describe Squee to perhaps those who don't know?
Squee's just a little kid that witnesses the kind of things that Johnny usually did to people. It wasn't as much of a violent book as much as it was just humor-based, because after doing 7 issues of Johnny, the last thing I wanted to do was more of that kind of thing.
Right, right.
So it's a lot sillier, and there's not as much of a message, if any message can be gotten out of
Sure. I'm sure there's a message in there somewhere.
Like Johnny.
And horrific, but it's in there.
Yeah, but I'm probably cooler with Squee than I am with the Johnny stuff, just because Johnny's a lot older too. So.
Now, how do you categorize the comics? Because in reading up on you, people were saying, "Hey, look, this guy is a goth king. He is everything and anything to the goth community." Would you classify your comic books as goth?
King, yeah, but not goth. I mean, that's
right.
That's arrogant.
Treat you like loyalty, but don't categorize you.
No, the goth thing came up after the fact. I mean, I didn't start doing comics thinking I'm doing goth comics because there weren't goth comics out. There weren't books that were labeled as such anyhow. So when I started doing books, when they were in stores, they were in just the alternative comics section maybe. Now, a few years down the road, they're in their own section. They're in the goth comics section. Right. Which, it's...
you walk by it, you hear weeping kids, and there's a lot of white makeup.
There's just blood all over the
floor.
Everywhere,
yes, exactly.
Dead children. And
well, speaking of the children, Invader Zim. We have to go there. You did the comic for Nickelodeon, and that exposed, the cartoon, excuse me, for Nickelodeon, exposed to like a lot of a big younger audience. I mean, really. And now, because of that, is that getting popular with your older work amongst the youth?
Oh yeah, immediately. People basically would run searches on my name because I just for some reason my identity was very much identified with the show,
right? Which
was weird, and they basically kind of hooked into my older work, which wasn't necessarily aimed at kids.
Does that concern you at all? Or could you care less? It's
It's odd. I don't. At first, I wasn't terribly comfortable with it. Now it's just sort of like accept it because nothing's really come of it. There's not kids going around, slaughtering their families in my name, which I guess that's.
I think that's a plus.
It's flattery in a way, yes. But it's not really. It wasn't my goal. It wasn't my intent. So kids reading, Johnny, like 11, 12-year-old kids. again, just like adults, it depends on the person and how they interpret it. I've gotten way more literate fan mail from little kids than I have from a lot of the older audience who are apparently just suffering from some serious retardation.
Right.
Yes.
Now, finally, tell me about Filler Bunny.
What about it?
Let us know what it is. What's up and coming? Come on, let me hear it.
It's a book that most people sort of groan at when I tell them I'm working on a new one, because it's... The whole idea is that they're drawn very quickly and very rushed, which is the point. I try and do them like in one night.
Hence the name, perhaps.
Filler Bunny, he was basically just to fill up space whenever I needed a single page that I maybe left out of one of the older books. So they're done. I did entire books, though, 15 pages, each of them, 16 pages, overnight. 16 pages, a whole book overnight, front, cover, everything. The artwork is really bad. They basically document my, just declining sanity as the night goes by, trying to finish a whole book, because I wait until the deadline to complete them.
So you back yourself up against the wall just to churn one of them out, essentially.
Yeah, the results are just being some of my more horrible work, which I like. I like seeing something that just goes horribly wrong.
Right.
If that's the point.
Then you should definitely tune into the screensavers more often. So it's what it is. It's one giant chain. Jhonen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate the time, and feel free to start breaking stuff when we go to commercial. When we go to commercial. Thank you.
Okay.